Hello tech enthusiasts and welcome to today's live stream. I'm Lex from Tech's Review and I'm thrilled to have you all here today. Today we're going to look at Droip 2.0. It's a page builder that I never heard of before this live stream. So yeah, all right. I did heard of it before this live stream, but it was a while back and never heard about that one before that. But for those who are new to this live stream, I'm Lex, and in this channel we dive into the world of web tech. We are going to look at page builder currently, but in the future we'll also be looking at CSS, exploring animations using CSS and GSAP, or building amazing websites, I hope, with low-code tools. So today we're going to look at Droip 2.0. I have it open right there, so I'm looking at it because I'm very excited to check it out, to see how it works. It's actually a WordPress integration, so we'll be looking at that. I want to see how the interface works and how it feels and how it be testing out. And we'll be trying to build the Bridge Builder Challenge hero section, so the BBC H section? I don't know. It's fine. Let's check out Droip first to see how this will look and feel. There we go. Hello, little brother. How are you doing? Hello, Jimmy. How nice to have you all here. It's always nice that you guys are always there, or most of the times. It's always fun. I hope you're doing well, by the way. Let me see. Check. We've had that. Have some things on my camera to see if everything is going as planned. So this is Droip 2.0, and I never heard of it before, but as we can see, the interface looks kind of similar to other tools that we have seen in the past, right? We've seen Web Studio, but also looks like a little bit like what's called Webflow, and I will be looking at Webflow as well. Maybe perhaps I should schedule it next week because I'm very excited about that one as well. But this is Droip. At least I hope that is the way you pronounce it. It has a nice looking interface. It looks like you can make changes to pages, colors, variables, and that sort of things. And I'm very curious how it works. So let's check out what they else have to say. This is the CSS grid builder. So if you're building a grid, what we actually need for our Bridge Builder hero section build, right? I'm chill. Nice to hear that you are chill. I'm fine as well. Being better. Last weekend I had a flu. I was a little bit sick, and my kids were sick, and my girlfriend was sick, and we went to the Efteling, so pretty tired as well. But it is what it is, right? It was very nice, by the way, to go to the Efteling again. For those who don't know what the Efteling is, it's like a yeah. How do you say it? Disney World. It has fairy tales and that sort of things, telling all of the stories for little children. This is their main mascot called Pardoes, and you have all kinds of rides you can go with. And there's a lot of fun things. We just got in there and go to the tiny children kind of thing because I have two tiny people living with me. And those are my kids, by the way. So they are not as fun to see everything yet. They can't go into the roller coaster and that sort of thing. We saw this guy, Told Yan is called, if I butcher its name in English. And here you have tiny mushrooms, and this is the Dwarven village. Very nice. If you are in the Netherlands, you definitely need to go to the Efteling, because for very tiny children, it's a lot of fun. They were tired afterwards, so it was also fun for us. As dad and mom, we could get some rest. Yeah, amusement park. Thank you, Jimmy. That's what it's called. Because themed in Europe, I think. Yeah, it could be. It is a theme park. Yeah, it's just amazing how big it is. It's very old. And it started out with a very little village telling the story of the Brothers Grimm. So it's Red Riding Hood, but also Snow White, a little bit of Rapunzel. So there's a bit of disconnects as well, because you have stories that are told by the Brothers Grimm and not so much as the Disney story. So it could be different if you experience it. But let's continue our look at Droip. Here we have the CSS grid builder, as we just saw. And this is for the typography. You can import it. You have a form builder, so that's nice. Also includes forms, a media manager, SEO options, so you can add search engine optimization. You don't need an extra tool for that one. You have a nice pop-up builder. Look at that, how quickly you can position it in a certain place. And you have interaction. What is interaction? Well, this looks like a very comprehensive tool, if you ask me, actually. It's moving. It's not actually how you would like to move it, I guess, because you like to move it, right? But a little bit differently. This is also weird. I press this one, and then when I scroll down, I get the next option, the previous option, I should say. Let's move a little bit down. And here we have another interface that you can align it on certain positions. It looks similar to what we have used to. The icons are similar, at least. I'm very curious how this how this works. Yeah, it looks very nice, if you ask me. Reusable symbols. I guess they get the name from, I don't know, Figma, or what does it use symbols? Conditions, the global manager, multiple backgrounds, typography, dynamic data. That's very important as well, right? It's designed for efficiency. Quick structure, common styles. This scrolling behavior is very annoying. I'm scrolling a lot before I go to the next part. You have a dev mode where you can develop. Oh, you can add JavaScript. That's nice. You can add custom attributes. Always nice. And pseudo elements. See, this is what I mean. Now I go all the way back. Although I selected... that's annoying. There's some integrations. Oh, there's a lot of good stuff. I'm very curious about this one. But before we do, let's check out the pricing, because this should be very... well, it's not that expensive as I thought. $2.99, $5.99 is like on par with Bricks. So I hope it can be as good as Bricks. Unlimited sites, design and build custom websites, add interactions, animations. You have your header footer builder, adaptive breakpoints. Yeah, actually everything that you... the only difference is the amount of sites you get supported by the pricing tiers, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like that. It would be nice that you highlight the differences. I mean, if the rest is the same, you can just put it in once and say, it's the same as this one, same as starter, but you get 10 site licenses. So they should work also on pricing, I guess. I don't know how good this is. As I said, never heard of it, so let's check out the community. It's on Facebook, as we can see. We have 902 members. Doesn't look like a very big group. And the admin is the last active. Ooh. 9 hours ago. And in 2024. So that's a long time ago. It doesn't look... maybe I have sorted it the wrong way. Yeah, it's featured instead of new posts. Where can I find my... You can order them, right? I need to join the group perhaps first before I can see what people have been up to. But yeah, there's a Facebook community as well, and you can look into some people adding some enhancements and that sort of things. It's not a very big group, but I guess it's decent. Let's also see what kind of releases they have done. I saw a video randomly like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, for me as well. So was curious, and that's why I wanted to do this this one before. Never before, but like the way they present. I think their marketing is very good, and also their styling. So that's on par. So I'm curious what the reason is. I never heard of a Droip ever, actually, before. I mean, I even heard about Green Shift. But it could also be me. All right, let's try Droip out. Droip out. You press try Droip. I really can't pronounce it at a certain point. Let's type in my email address. And let's open up. Now I'm gonna switch my screen for a little bit. And there we go. Because you don't have to see what I am doing in my private selection. There we go. Get started. You will just get an email in your inbox and you can press the demo link. Aren't they in beta? That's maybe why. I guess. I don't know. It doesn't look like it if we open up the website. It doesn't feel like it's in beta, right? If it is, it should more clearly state that it is in beta. To me, this feels like a ready-made product. It's ready to run, right? Maybe I'm missing something. Google. It doesn't show up, so props isn't live for long. Yeah, could be. It's part of Thememium. I have heard about them a very long time ago. Oh, this is jarring. I thought I heard about Tutor LMS as well a while back, and the feedback wasn't very positive, if I remember correctly. So hopefully Droip doesn't go the same way. But anyways, let's check it out first and let's remove that one. So here we have Droip. Now I first need to close my sidebar and then we go back. So here we have Droip. We are greeted with a nice interface and a onboarding tool. This is the top menu bar. We can access out all points and go into various things. These are for adding elements. These are the breakpoints. You can zoom in and out, but also set a kind of scale. We can make text larger for disable motion, so you can check out several of the accessibility kind of thing. It's a very nice add-on actually. You have a class manager, so it's not a selector manager. We just learned last week with Buildarius, that's a very different thing. I know that already, of course, but having that available in the what's called builder, it's never actually an option. So kudos for Buildarius. Style panels. Here we can select our variables immediately. It looks very much like Figma. See, that's nice, but also not, I guess. And templates. We have predefined templates that can kickstart. We have a dark and light mode, and we have an autosave feature. And then we're done. And then we're greeted with a nice starting homepage that is very annoying to scroll with. I think they have a problem with people scrolling because even this part, it doesn't scroll very nicely. It's very feels like I need to work before I can scroll further. Is there any way we can disable that? We have few options. So what we want to show, we can go back to the admin. I'm curious. There we go. There we have our WordPress admin. And we can even install things. It's a shame that we can't test out the dynamic data right in here. And I'm not a fan of creating a lot of posts. So Droip, if you're watching this, please enable something that we can add some smooth scroll. Nope. There we go. That's the setting. We can also enable SVG uploads. We have JSON files. We have all kinds of integrations with AI, Unsplash, Pexels. Nice. It's only supporting OpenAI API key. I can imagine. Would be nice that in the future other tools can be added as well. I mean, Claude is way better if you're also doing the HTML structure. And I guess I can't check out what will be used because I will not be entering my OpenAI account right now. And you can select what kind of things they will see. We see the advanced. We can share view only link. That's nice. So let's try this out as well. I put it in the chat and we can see if you guys can see it as well. And then we have our license, which is, of course, enabled. let's go back into our builder. So you have the nice purple edit with Droip. If we go into the page builder, we get greeted with, all right, this is not for the WordPress editor. This is not the basic editor. It's using Droip. So it's very nice that you can immediately see the difference. And then we press it and we open up our about page in this case. And there we go. And now the amazingly annoying smooth scrolling is also gone. So that's nice. Now I'm very curious how we can make changes to this. It looks very nice with the things that are now added. I want to start fresh. So let's see. We have our content manager. We have projects. And then we have, what's this? Is this a project? P2B marketing. We go there, we go to a homepage. This doesn't feel like a project to me. And now I don't know how I can go back. So here we are back. If I click on it, I can see that I can change the title, the slugs, and that sort of things. But I have no clue what. Oh, suddenly I'm exited. I was confused when I saw the video if it wasn't like Wix kind of servers, but since it's a plugin, I might be totally wrong. Yeah, I had the same thing actually, Jimmy. I thought that this would be also something similar, like a Wix, but I didn't know it was part of WordPress, and that's why. Ooh, look at that. There we have our structure. That's why I am very curious why I haven't heard about them. Here we can directly open the pages. We can also add a new one. So let's try it out. A new page. And this is our test page. Good beard. Yeah, from the images, right? Look at this. This is a nice fresh beginning. We can immediately select a single page, template kit, page section, or elements. We select a template kit. We can select the templates that they've made. And to be quite frank, they are looking pretty good compared to some other page builders, to be fair. But we won't be starting with that one. This is a single page. And then suddenly there's some pre-made stuff here. I guess this is the theme that is selected right now that we are viewing, so that we can add single pages. We can also add page sections. Let's see, we can add a header. We can add another hero section. Let's see what happens. Look at that. And with an instance, we have some predefined components that we can reuse. So I wonder how we would set it up, but let's remove all this and let's start with a blank. Let's see what happens when we add a section. We add it in, and then we have the drop right here. Let's see. Need to close that one. The co-founder had a big one. Nice. That's cool. I wonder how responsive it is. I think the things that they have made is very responsive, I would assume. Oh, when I click here, it's suddenly my options are away, so I can press this one again, and it's called symbols. Oh, elements. We have sections. The sections. We have complete pages. We have symbols. Oh, so symbols are in this case components, right? The nav bar, the footer. Then we have shapes. Nice. Predefined shapes. We have amazingly looking icons. We have some buttons. Look at that. All the different buttons that we don't need because we have a certain way of look and feel for a website. But it's nice to have. And we have all kinds of tabs. Tabs for days. And we have all kinds of cards. Commercial cards, people cards, number cards, and we have some forms. But we were looking at the elements. Now, if we want to add something in here, I think we can just drag it over. There we go. Then we go to our layers and we see that we have a section. Usually there's a section, and within the section we have automatically a div. I don't know if this is the case as well. But you can create your own elements like your buttons, right? I don't know. Let's check it out if we can. Do you have to stick with what they propose? I'm very curious about that one as well. Let's press E. It is nice that the shortcuts are also shown and that the tooltip is very quick to show. I love that a lot. Let's add another div in this section. Let's see, I don't see my layer. So we have 2 in there. This section needs to be the structure. No, the borders, the position. I want this to be a flexbox. Can we make it into a flexbox, please? We have display. We're not displaying any structure. We have an inline, there we go. A flex, one direction. We have a nice preview of how the sorting goes. This is very nicely done. It makes it very tangible and visible what will happen if you select something. That's a very nice example. Let's see. Let's align them in the center and align everything in the center as well. Then we select this div and I press E for my elements. It's very quick and easy to remember. And then add a heading, a text, and that's it. And on the right hand side, let's add E and a image. I don't directly see an image. I see one, but I want to just check out this. And we can put into images. There we go. It's easy as what? And then you go back to layers, that you see the layers, that you see how things are set up right now. Now, if I want to do changes to the typography, for instance, I don't want it to be inherited. And if I do want it to be inherited, where can I change it? Do we do that in the classes? There's a lot of predefined classes, as you can see. Icon sizes, there's some random generated ones already. I haven't started by creating much. There's a lot of classes. I guess they exist on other pages as well. Let's see. I want to set up. Oh, we have some apps that we can connect to. We have templates. We have content management. We have dev mode, so we can add some JavaScript. I don't know if that's even possible. That's a lot of classes, yeah. At least you will be learning something in that class. But here in the variables, we need to set it up, I guess. So we can change it right here, and then it doesn't change there. I like that they have used the design from Figma, because I'm used to it and it looks very similar. But this is a heading and it hasn't changed. So I can do it right here, but I wanted to do it the proper way. So this needs to be inherited, and I need to find a way to change font library. Yes, these are all the fonts, and these are the ones that we have installed. Does that mean that it runs locally? I guess so. I don't know. We can optimize and upload it, and they are using the very old school font scroll. Man, if you haven't seen this back in the days, then I don't know where you have been living. It was the go-to font website before Google. But I can't see how I can add and change my typography in here. Because it's not using the link that I've added. Anyways, let's continue on. We can grab this tool right here and drag it over. And as you can see, it is very weird looking, because when I drag it over, my cursor is here and the box is over there. So there's a discrepancy. Could be because I'm zoomed in right now. And that's what I usually do, because else people won't see it. Oh, look at here. There's some light mode documentation, and we have settings. Oh, then you get out of the editor. That's a bad thing. I want to stay in the editor. Let's see how this will go. So if I drag it, I had this as well when I worked with jQuery a long time ago. I needed to create something similar, and this effect happened, and I needed to redo the formula for the calculating on where the mouse position is and where the box needs to be, so it's always accurate. And this is just a little weird looking discrepancy. Well, anyways, we have our heading. We can we remove this? How can we remove this? We can hover over it. Detach. No, I want to remove it. Don't want to detach a class. I want to remove a class. Detach. There we go. It's detached. Let's call this H1. Now we've created an H1 class. For all of our classes, if you don't know what classes are a way to reuse a certain name throughout the website. So if I have different places where I can use the same class, like H1, and I make one change, for instance, the typography whatsoever, it will change on every place. So always try to use classes. But there we go. We've changed it at least for this class. And now I want to set this in a different width. We can set a full width. Nope. Maybe we can easily change our section or a div. How do I? Now our section is selected, and there's our div. All right. And now I want to change the size of our div. There's the sizing. It was actually very easy to find. And perhaps we will make this 20 characters. It doesn't seem like it likes the CH. We need to set it here, and we need to manually select it. Can we also type it in and press enter? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. 500 pixels. We can also set view width, min content. We can set max content. It does feel a little bit strange working this way, that it feels like you're setting a unit of measure, but instead it is min content and max content. It feels a little bit weird if you ask me. But anyways, let's continue on. 500 pixels. There we go. We have our nice alignment. And now we can add an image. Look at this. This is amazing that they have integrated a library, an image library, immediately in the builder. I didn't need to exit it at all or whatsoever. And it looks very similar to the other ones from the variable selector. So that's also very nice. By the way, talking about it, I want to do a change to my earlier one. Let's see. Let's go to Unsplash. Unsplash. And let's see how this will look and feel. We'll download this lovely image of a person standing on a stone or suitcase. I don't know. We can't do that because it's a plus exclusive. Let's download this one then. From a cave. Let's save. And because I've been in a theme park, let's also download this one from Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt ago. And let's close it. We can drag it over. It doesn't seem like it works like that, but we can do it like this. And there we have our media. This looks very nice, if you ask me. You have a nice way of cropping the images while keeping the aspect ratio. We can make it bigger and smaller. Drag the focal area. You can also drag the focal area. That's nice. freeform. It would be nice that it's said here that it is the aspect ratio that we can change. So we can do something like this. And can we square ratio 60:9? There we go. And we can make some adjustments. I was afraid that I lost everything. We can add some more exposure or contrast. Ooh, this is really slow, and I have in my opinion, a really powerful computer, but maybe it's a little bit too much with doing the live stream kind of thing and then also doing this. What's the best way to reset this? Because I don't want to do any adjustments here. There we go. We just do undo. 60:9, 4:3. Get a squarish kind of thing, and we hit update. And let's see what happens. And take a sip of a drink. It doesn't like that I did that. So let's see if I just add it in. There we go. And we can still set a different sizing, so that's fine. Let's set it for 200 pixels for now. And the width needs to be 100%. And can we set somewhere that this needs to be an object fill? Scroll size, more sizing options. We can content box, and then we can set our fit. So it should be cover. Scale down. Well, at least you have different kind of options that you can select. I was thinking that I set this height a little bit lower, and then we can still crop this. But it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. Let's open up layers again and open this one up. The scroll bar is a little bit weird. And there we go. It's harder to select the image in here because it will select the div instead of the image. So we can select the image, and then we can still change the settings. We can set it to grayscale. And if we change the ratio again, let's see what happens, right? Update. Maybe it doesn't like it because of the because it's a very big image. So I can imagine that's maybe a little bit too much. It adds another image. Look at that, and here we can select another one from the image library. We can add that one. Let's see. So how is this possible? I can't select this one, the last image, but I can select the first one. I also see here the path, and then I can select the one above it. What's this? Now we can change how this works. So what I also saw, and maybe we can see if we can recreate the grid from Bridge Builders. We can add a section in here, open elements, and then throw in a grid. And inside the grid, I want this to be there. I want this to be there. I want this to be there, and I want this to be there. I see that my images, not all of them are in there, but all of them are in there. So what's happening right here? Well, anyways, let's change the grid. I saw that we have a lovely way of changing the grids. So now I want to do that. Grid multidirectional. That sounds like fun. We have the structure. Yes, we have the amount of tracks. Yes, we do need to. And I want this one to be there. And this one, image. Should be moved somewhere else. I can't see to change it. Let's see. Here we have, ooh, there we go. Then we can make changes to this. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Let's make changes to this, and then we can perhaps add one here as well and make a little bit changes over here. I don't see any way of making changes on this side, but we want to have an area here. Then we want this area. Yes, I want this to adjust this area. How do I do that? Do I select this? Oh, it wasn't very clear that I could select it. We have an area right there. Then we have an area here. And I want another area here. I would like to move this area down. I'm not able to move them. So that's kind of confusing. How? And suddenly everything is gone. What? Oh. So I can scroll and then everything is gone. And then when you move your mouse, everything's back. I want to make this tinier. How do I do that? I can click here and I can change the size. Let's see. I don't want this to be 1 of R. I want this to be at 1. I can go below 1. Should be helpful. 0.25. Nope. 0.25. Yes, it does. And then it says auto, but I don't want it to be auto. Let's see. 0.25 FR. No, it doesn't accept that. It looked easier in the preview, to be fair. Let's see what we can do. Can we move this image to another area? Right, I want to move this image. How do I do that? I can rename it. We have on the side panel, we have some things. We have grid items. And we can select the position right here. So it should be the first and fourth, actually. This should be 3. And this should be 1. I guess we're now adding it to this class, so the images are overlaid, right? So what we can do, it should be ending in 3. But it does do weird things. All right, let's see if we want to detach this. There we go. The image is now very large. We have selected the first image. So we can select image 1. And for image 1, we'll set the grid of 1/2. And then 2/2. And here we add another image. So we detach this one and we will add image -2. And we set it in a grid of 2. And then 3, and then 2, and then 3. And let's just see what happens. The images are very big, so we can make it smaller, but they are at least beneath each other. So let's say 100%, or should I say 100 pixel? That looks good. Pixel. Then we can at least see that our images are in the correct container. Look at that. And then we see where they are living in the container. All right, we're done. And this one I want to... we have a way of seeing it, but then we don't have a way of dragging them over. That would be nice. But we can do it like this as well. It should be 1/2, 3 over and 4. So it will be in this container, and this container will stay empty. And then let's select this one and put it in the grid container 2/3. And this should be 2/5, 4. So this one then? Nope. So this one should be good. I want this to be in this column and the next column. It doesn't look like it's allowing me to. We can do it like this, but it doesn't look great, but at least it's something, right? No, I'm kidding. Now, why can't we set it to a different? So 1 is there, 2 is, and now suddenly it does work. This is weird. And same goes for this one. It should also fill the container, actually. 100%. Because automatically it will fill the space available. But since this is a very big space, I don't think it makes sense. We can select our grid. And then let's see. Here it is a different width. Now it's auto again. It should be filling both of the areas actually. So I'm quite confused. Area. We can also put in an area. Area 4. Width 100%. So now we see where it actually is. Area 3, 2, and 1. Area 4. Let's also add a width in here. That's the position over there. So that one's good. And this one is not good aligned. And suddenly it changes the location 2/4. And then row 2, 3. Now this is what I expected before, so I didn't know what happened. I'm still feeling a little bit cold, by the way. If you haven't heard. Let's see, I want this grid. All of them to be aligned in the top. That sounds about right. And I want to change the size of this image. Can we set it to 100% as well? And then we'll adjust it the right way. See, this is what I would have expected before as well. And now we're getting there. We're getting somewhere at least. We can set a certain height of the grid. So we need to change the grid as well. Then set up 1FR. It's like 200 pixels. Maybe even smaller. 20, 75 pixels. All right. It doesn't look like it's chasing the area. It's still very big. And if I remember correctly, when you set the size of the grid, the grid determines what the size is. And if I say it should be either 75 or 75 pixels, it shouldn't go out of that one. That should be just the max width, max height. Maybe we set it here. 25 pixels. Now, usually the grid should adhere, and know that alright, you can go be larger than this. So it should change size, but it doesn't. It fits its image size, and I don't want that. Do I need to change the size right here? Let's do that, and then we can change the fill to cover. There we go. Is it just me, or was it working differently just a minute ago? I don't know. And the funny thing, if I press anywhere on the screen right now, I'm not able to select anything. So I don't know what's happening right now. But I guess because of this model being open, it gets higher priority. So we can... Okay, it's fine. So let's select the image. Let's change the size of here as well to 500 pixels or something. And let's change it to cover. There we go. And what we actually need to do is add another little spacing grid. So let's change the grid settings. And I want to add another row. Sorry. Let's go in here, 75 pixels. And there we have all of them. 75 pixels. So now we can set this, for example, to, if I remember correctly, Dave set it to 30 RAM or something like that. Or I guess it is a little bit less, 3 RAM. This is weird behavior, that it suddenly changes a lot in sizing. 30 RAM. 20 RAM. This should be fit content, right? Fit content. Should not be 1. Should be auto fit content. With a minimum size of 30 pixels. Right. So now we can do the overlapping thing. Set it to done. So this image, and now we need to change the grid. We go to 3. And now we have some overlapping happening between the images. And we can make this area 2 a little bit smaller as well. So we go into our grid settings. And see, here it is. Fit content, 0 pixels. It's a shame that we can't set a different setting for height. Because in this case, I want the grid template of the columns to be fit content. So it should fit the content of the tiniest portion. Because the image is sizing to the size of, should be sizing actually, to the size of the block where it's in. I actually want this image to be 100%. And then my heading needs to determine the size and not the image. So this is very frustrating actually. And feels like something has been added to make this work in a particular way. But no matter, we're just exploring, right? And let's add another section right here that we can move over this image to the right. So we'll add another one right there. It should be smaller. And done. And this image should move there, and the image below there should start there. So we can set our column start and end. We add another one, and there we have the overlapping images. Now I really don't like that we have a 500 pixels and that it's not determined by the area size that we have selected right now. Maybe we can make changes to that as well and make it a little bit easier for ourselves. So let's drag it over there. And then we have area 4. That should be those two. Area 3 should be those two. Area 1 should be those two. And area 2 should be those two. Feels like area 4 doesn't want to move out in a way. Are they not able to overlap? That would be very nasty. Selecting is quite difficult. It doesn't allow me to overlap, so that's not a very nice thing. So I'll guess this is how far we can go in about 49 minutes. And this is my try of recreating the bridge builds things. So yeah, there we have it. We can still select the area 1, and here we can select the area of 2. Oh no, this is the heading still. I want to select my image here. There we have our image, and we can select the area 2, and then we can select our text. That should be in area 3. You can change the naming to make it easier to understand which one you need to select. And this one needs to be in area 4, which we know it's not the correct one, right? I wanted to overlap, and that's not possible right now. So that's a little bit different, but this is good enough. I had some questions on how it works, and I hope that there are some things that they still can refine to make it work a little bit smoother. However, I do like that you have one payment and then a lot of things have been added, whilst in something like Bricks Builder, you need to add a lot of plugins to get all these kinds of things. If we look at pages, we have a way of managing our pages. We have a way of managing our media files directly in here. We have our layers panel, we have our elements panel, but also the sections, pages, and that sort of things that we've created. I'm very curious if we can save it somehow. How can we save this section? So we have selected our grid, see a tree thing. We can add a symbol. Well, it's not like we can save it right here, right? Doesn't look like it allows me to. We can also add some kind of interactions. Now, interaction on trigger. Animate through user interactions, click, hover, or page events, like scroll or load. Yes, that's what we want to do. When it is in view, it's always in view. Scrolled into view, library. We want to set a new kind of interaction. Select an element on the canvas. There we go. We want our image to do something. We can add color, we can add background, we can move it, we can scale, we can size. So let's change the size. All right, I need to check size again. Scale. All right, we're going to scale something, I guess. And where does it now start and end? So if I set to X, 50, does it mean it starts there or does it end there? And how can I have the granular control if something is changing? Let's preview. There we go. Woohoo! There's the timeline, but I can't seem to change the timeline or see an example. Even if I press preview and over here, I don't see how this will change. And also, I don't know if I set an end state in here, right? So if I select this one, this is the end state. And how can I set the starting state? Look at that, we're stretching. This looks very abstract. Let's put it 1.1. Just a little stretch. And also a little stretchy stretch right here. Look at that. Very Interstellar-like image, yeah. Yeah. It's nice. I do like that we have some kind of preview and that we have a timeline. Would be nice that you could scrub through it and then you know if this is the end state or the beginning state. Because I can see also value to be added, that you can determine what kind of animations and how the animation starts and how the animation finishes. But still, it's nice to have that here. We want to have the skew. If I select that one, does that mean... No, it doesn't do anything when I do it like that. Grid. No, I don't want to change my grid. I want to change the images. If I press again, I need to select again. I don't know why I have to press this action and then press an action again in this list. It is very different. But let's move it like Jagger. Let's move it in the z-axis to minus 200. Let's see what happens. Ooh, nothing really, actually. If we set it to 20,000. It's okay with moving. If we move it, look at that, it's flying off screen. That's just amazing animation, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo! If we set it to 200 pixels, let's see what happens. Look at that. It needs to be looped. We needed to view it over and over again. And again, a very janky feeling when you're moving your mouse around. It's offset by a certain amount and doesn't feel like a good thing. All right. I think I have enough experimentation. Let's see. Look at that. That just looks awesome, right? We have a nice moving image. All right. So we just looked at Droip. There's a lot of things going on, if you ask me. And I'm so curious about you guys. What do you think of it? For me, I feel like it's a very nice product, but a lot of UX things aren't well thought of yet. I can see if Jimmy is right and saying that this is a beta version or a better version, it can be better in the future. So I can see a lot of improvements going there. In this state it is right now, it has a nice looking interface and it has a lot of bells and whistles. You can directly create and edit pages. You can change the menu items. If you have followed Kevin Geary, he's talking about an Era 4 builder, which comprehends, which has a lot of things in the builder itself. And this feels like a very good starting point, right? You have the media library, you have the pages, but there's some UX things that doesn't match up with what I'm used to having. It's nice that you have classes. It's nice that you can create grids and that you have a grid selector and creator. But it doesn't do, it isn't in the way that I'm used to how it should be using. But I'm still curious. How do you like this Droip thing and how we tested it out? And seeing that we are 75 minutes in and 2 minutes left before 1 hour mark, I still have a few things I want to share, which is not about Droip. As you can see during my live streams, I've been working on changing the lights as well. It is fun to do, and there's a lot of things going on at work, a lot of fun things. So making this a little bit straight. And perhaps that's something that we can talk about next week when we also take a look at Webflow and hopefully recreate the section as well. Perhaps a little bit faster, we'll see. But for now, I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you like this kind of videos. And if you did, leave a like and leave also a comment. What do you think of Droip and me experimenting with it? As always, thanks for watching and catch you on the next one. Keep designing. And I have to press the stop streaming and end broadcast kind of thing. So